Hey, what's up guys? It's David over at Nutrisport, Marietta. We've been talking about protein for the last week or so. Just kind of talked about function of protein. You know, it's tissue maintenance. We need it to, build muscle, repair muscle. It's a long chain of amino acids that are bonded together to form a peptide or a protein molecule. So today, let me revisit quick again what we talked about last week. How do we define quality of protein? We talked about biological value, the BV score. The higher the BV, the better the protein, because the better it's going to be absorbed into the body, and it's got to be absorbed into the body or else it's not going to be used by the body. So again, biological value is everything. The higher the score, the better the absorption. The better the absorption, the better the quality. So that kind of leads us into today's video. I want to talk about denatured protein because it's going to affect absorption. Denatured protein is essentially damaged protein. Damaged protein usually happens in the production process, but I guess it could start even before the production process. A lot of companies, they're gonna start with just worse quality raw materials, and when you have lower quality raw materials that you are probably buying from a low quality distributor, you're gonna have a lot of damaged protein or denatured protein. That just basically means that the protein molecule has been disrupted in some way, compromised in some way. And if it's compromised in some way, it might still be a whey protein, which we defined last week as the best type of protein because of its very high biological value. It might still be a whey protein, the denatured protein, but it's not going to absorb as optimally as it should. So we got to look at quality of starting raw materials, and how do we kind of gauge the likelihood of getting a better quality raw material. A better company, a more reputable company is typically going to start off with better quality raws. So look for somebody that's been around for a while, because they've been around for a reason for a while. During the pasteurization process, because that's where whey protein, for instance, comes from. It comes from the making of cheese. We're kind of separating this layer from the cheese making part, and that's where the whey protein is. Anything that is produced in this country, we have to pasteurize it. So sometimes exposure to very high temperatures can denature or destroy the protein molecule, and again, that's going to affect its absorption. So companies that don't expose their or don't use processing techniques that are associated with very high heat usually have better quality raw material and better quality, in this case, protein. Filtration processes. Sometimes companies use filtration processes like ion exchange filtration, and that basically will separate protein away from your lactose, your carbohydrate, your fat, the stuff that we don't necessarily want. But in so doing, when we use ion exchange, we're treating the sample with acid, and just like heat can denature or damage the protein, acid treatment can also denature and damage the protein. So you're still getting whey protein, but it's denatured, and that's going to affect, again, its absorption. So we want to look at better filtration processes. Something I always say is look for something called cross-flow microfiltered whey protein, because we're not treating that sample with heat. We're not treating it with acid either. Sometimes companies will dry their protein with heat, so they'll use excessive amounts of heat to dry the actual protein, and again, that'll denature it, that'll damage it. So we want to usually dry with cold temperatures to preserve, again, the integrity of the protein molecule, and again, optimize its absorption. And that's what I just always get back to. The quality of anything nutrient-wise that we ingest. We want it to absorb. We want the body to use it. And if there's something that's affecting absorption, there's going to be something affecting ultimately its potency and its quality. So had to talk about denatured protein. You know, starting raw materials are denatured sometimes. How we filter protein can denature it. How we process it, you know, pasteurizing it, heating it, can denature it. And then, you know, how we filter it can denature it also. So look for proteins, again, that are cross-flow microfiltered ways. Look for proteins that are cold dried and not heated excessively. Look for proteins that are grass-fed derived proteins, because again, they're going to just be better quality raw materials, and that's going to affect absorption in a positive way. Any questions, guys? Again, just let me know. Any input, I always appreciate it. Feedback is always needed. And again, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys.